Okay, so welcome to Excel at the Basics. On your screen, there is some information that we're going to be covering today. So we're going to look at tables and how to do an average function and how to quickly format your data. And then at the bottom is an example of taking data from an Excel file and putting it into a chart. So this has the fourth quarter scores and it has math, science, English, and history. So this is our overview. And today we're going to learn about taking a spreadsheet, the layout, and organize it into data. We're going to filter data into tables and columns in an ascending order, and then utilizing the average function to analyze scores. All right, so has anybody worked with Excel before? You can put it in the chat. Yes, okay. All right. So do you feel like you're an expert at Excel or a beginner?
Beginner.
Okay, so a beginner. That's perfect. So we have a little bit of knowledge. So we're going to organize our data and write in the chat how you think you would do the average function. So whether you've heard of it or not. So something about the average function. Do you know anything about it? Maybe put in the chat like what you do know about the average function. Let me pull up the chat. Okay, all right, so one person knows they do average, then equal sign, then average, and in the parentheses, one person doesn't know. So we kind of have a wide range of what we know about Excel here. Okay. So we know that we have a little bit of each side. So data in Excel can be organized and be filtered and make it a lot easier to deal with. And so we're actually going to open up the Excel file that was in the chat. So we're going to open up that file. So let me stop sharing this. And let me find our Excel file. See if we can actually find the files. I'll just share my whole screen. Okay. So there we go. Okay, so here's the data that was put into the chat. And we have the student ID numbers, the names, their grades, and their scores, and what lunch period they have. And we're going to see if we can put this as a table first. So the thing with these is you can just click in that first box to student ID. So go ahead and click there. Click on the student ID. And then you're going to go up to the top where it says format as table. You're just going to click on it. You can click any color. So whatever color you want to choose. This does have headers. So the headers are the student ID and the name and the grade level. So we're going to click there. So mine is not formatted as a table. It's not organized yet, but it's formatted. So did you guys get yours table formatted? Is it as a table now?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. All right, so yeah, so it's a table. Okay, so both people, all right. We're going to sort this. So go ahead and click the math or the science. And then click ascending order. So we're going to click on the little bitty down arrow. Does it actually show on yours? So it doesn't show on what I'm doing, but I'm clicking on the little bitty down arrow and then click ascending order. So it's going to go from the smallest numbers to the biggest number. The kids with the lowest scores are going to be at the top. So this is ascending order. So, okay, we're going to give this a second. All right. And so like for English, I can sort that one, put that from lowest to highest in ascending order. Are we good so far?
Yes.
Okay. All right. So let's see here. Let me stop sharing for just a second. So we have our information into a table. We have put it into a table. We have sorted it. We have clicked on just the A1 little cell. And we have sorted it by ascending order. Okay, we're going to find the average. So the average. All right, so let me share my screen again. Let me find it. Here we go. All right. So I'm going to share again. There is Excel. Okay, so I have my data. So at the bottom of one of the rows, say let's choose math, we're going to see what the average math score is for this class. So these, I would say, oh, they're not just eighth graders. So these high schoolers, what is the average score of the class? So I'm going to click on the cell at the end of the column for the math scores. And I'm going to click on formulas. So the ribbon at the top, all of those words are on a ribbon. They call them ribbons now. And so click on formulas. We good? Okay, formulas. Okay, so we're good with formulas. The easiest ones, there's a E looking, an item looks like an E and it says auto sum. If you click on that little bitty arrow, down arrow next to that E, that sum arrow, you're going to click average. Are we good so far?
Yeah.
Okay, so we've clicked average. We have, so what average did you get? If you could put it into the chat, or if you can say it. Okay, so it's 86.6. So that's the same averages that I have. Okay. So actually, we're going to look at, since some of you already know a little bit of this, we're going to look at how to pull this over and have the other ones do an average as well. So how does anybody know how we would do that?
Would you just pull the bottom right square and drag it
Yes.
over where you want it to
Yes.
be?
So you're going to click on that bottom right corner, and then I'm going to hold it and I'm going to drag it over. So it wouldn't drag under lunch period because it's not formatted as numbers, but the other ones are formatted as numbers. So it's showing you a decimal with one place value. So my first column for math is 86.6. My second column for science is 81.8, and then 85.4, and then 84. Okay, so this is the how to do an average in a table if you have data. Okay, so let me see. Okay, so you have, so it kind of combined the demonstration and the activity. So I showed how to do formatting the cell and formatting the table. It's actually formatting the table. How to filter our scores. So from the smallest to the biggest, how to find the average and using the average on the auto sum little part. Let's see here. Okay, so I'm going to do an assessment. So let me see if we can find our polls. Okay, on your screen, there should be an Excel basics and it has some questions. And it's going to ask you yes or no. Do you know how to do certain things? So it's going to ask, are you able to format data into a table? Yes or no. Are you able to filter a column in a table? Yes or no. And are you able to find the average of data? Yes or no. Okay, we'll give it just a couple more seconds. All right. Okay, so let's end that poll. We're actually going to share results. It shouldn't have names on it. All right, on your screen, it should show if people were able to format the table, format the data into a table, for filter the column into a table, and if they're able to find the average of the data. Okay. Let's see. Okay. All right. So let's go back to our first item. Let me share this other screen. Here we go. So hold on, let me share my screen. Okay, so this is about using Excel, about formatting items into a table, using the average function, and filtering data shows you different items. The chart at the bottom is kind of the advanced skill, but you can definitely do an average of this. And so one tip is if your data is not showing correctly, make sure it's formatted as a number, or you can do it as a percent, a number, or anything like that. But if it's just a general one, it sometimes messes up your formulas. And you can quickly format the data as a table by clicking in the first box and then clicking format as tables, like we did in the A1. Okay, so we're going to launch a little survey. Let me find my survey. I'm going to copy this link. So for this training in general, if you can put, or if you can click on the link, there is a survey that will open that kind of says like, how did you think about the training? Would you be able to organize data when you leave? And would you be able to filter data? And you'd be able to find the average of data. And there's an open-ended question. So go ahead and fill out the survey. Yeah, I see on the survey that some of the letters are messed up. I'm not sure what happened there, but you can see that it's supposed to say filter, but for some reason it's saying like the FI and then it goes to the end. All right. Does anybody have any questions about Excel or the tables? Okay, so in the future, the goal for this is that when people get data and with the school has a new system where you will have to organize all the data, and we're going to need to use pivot tables. But before we get to pivot tables, we need to do what is a table, putting it into to order, making charts, making the pivot tables, and just going further and further. So this is kind of just the basics of it. And so thank you for joining me for our training.